Andrew Tate, the most famous controversial persona on the internet. His fame reached its peak in mid-2022 after he said many controversial statements in various videos, but controversial statements alone aren't enough to make Andrew Tate the most famous man in the world and build a cult of millions of people following him. The uniqueness of Andrew Tate is really what makes him famous, and even if he said that he didn't cast a spell on anybody, he probably did. The spell wasn't targeting you, but it was targeting your subconscious instead. If we take a look at Andrew Tate in his early days, we'll find that Andrew Tate has appeared in several reality shows on TV before becoming a famous persona. And if you analyze him, you'll notice that he had an average way of speaking. He was lacking charisma and wit, and he was totally unnoticeable. Andrew Tate certainly didn't have the personality he has now, as young Andrew Tate was totally a different person he is now. What's changed is what happened to him and made him go from an average guy to a special man who can't go unnoticeable. The current version of Andrew Tate has a complicated yet effective thought process and speech structure. He's now able to convey people listening to him with any idea that he has, because he manages every time to make his speech hypnotic in a way that maintains your tuning. This is now the way that Andrew Tate has developed his hypnotic skills just by accident, and here's where we should shed some light on two important people in Andrew Tate's life. The first person is Emory Tate, Andrew and Tristan's dad. He was a professional chess player, and interestingly, he worked for the CIA as a linguist. Andrew Tate claimed many times that his dad was an intelligent person who mastered 4 languages. A linguist in Andrew Tate's life is so important because, in my opinion, his dad was the one responsible for developing a small part of Andrew Tate's speaking skills. One of the things that a linguist masters is the vocabulary of the target language, and when you know the vocabulary of a language very well, you'll be able to choose from different options of words to convey a certain message. That's why we see Andrew Tate many times say words like stupendous, perspicacious, definitive, and many other remarkable words that make him sound like a genius in front of people and make his speeches distinguishable and remarkable from all other online influencers. Another thing that I think Andrew Tate has learned from his father is saying things in a way that would trigger people, and he once admitted that he sometimes says things that are true but in a way that would trigger people to engage with him. And he gave an example, which is that if he says that women are physically weaker than men, everyone will agree with him, but if he says that women are weak, everyone will disagree with him, and the majority will start beefing with him, which will give more exposure for free. Those linguistic skills that Andrew Tate has learned from his father are important, but they aren't just enough to make his speeches hypnotic, and that's why we must look at another important person in Andrew Tate's life. This person is Iggy Semmelweis. Iggy Semmelweis is the highest ranking man in the war room, which is Andrew Tate's sequelization. And it's also worth noting that Iggy calls himself the master of spells and shadow inside the war room. Just to not make you confused, the version of the war room I'm talking about is the elite room and not the public version available to everyone to join. Back to Emmy. He's a Jew. He's a hypnotist that claims to be the best hypnotist in the world. It can't be that one of the close people to Andrew Tate is a hypnotist that masters neuro-linguistics programming, or NLP, which allows its users to change someone's thoughts and behaviors to achieve a desired outcome. NLP is usually used by psychologists and psychiatrists, but is also used in mainstream media and in some movies and film. It's usually beneficial and applicable in many things. But how do we know that Andrew Tate is using NLP, and specifically speech hypnosis? In order for speech to be hypnotic, the speaker needs to fire up the brain of his listener, which lets the brain get a back seat and allow the speaker to tap into the subconscious of its listeners, and this can be done through rapid hand gestures and bombastic speech. If you pay enough attention to Andrew Tate's videos, you'll notice that he's always doing hand gestures while speaking. He's always surprising his listener with unexpected words or answers, and this is exactly how Andrew Tate surprises the conscious and tap into the subconscious. And this is the one main reason that Andrew Tate clips can go viral without editing, because the majority of the video that goes viral are heavily edited and animated in order to keep your attention. But Andrew Tate doesn't need that because he's got something more powerful than heavy editing, and it's a hypnotic speech. Every time Andrew Tate speaks, he is in fact casting a spell to focus into your mind, which allows him to immediately make contact with your subconscious, which draws you into his world. This makes his thoughts sound enticing. In the mind of his fans, Andrew Tate has transformed himself into an embodiment of only masculine energy, forging a conduit from his speech to your soul. This just shows you how Andrew Tate's speaking and body language skills are unmatched if you compare them to the majority of online influencers. And this is what has separated Andrew Tate from all the others, allowing him to build a massive following online. Andrew Tate couldn't do that by himself, as my theory is that Iggy has hypnotized Andrew Tate's speech and body language in order to inspire his viewers to actively engage with him. Without Iggy Semmelweis, Andrew Tate wouldn't be able to reach the highest levels of fame. Andrew Tate has really built a complex hypnotic character, and now you can see the results of his work. Now, even with all the accusations and charges against him, millions of his followers are still defending him. Are they brainwashed? Nobody knows. The certain thing is that he's a hypnotist, and every time he speaks in front of the camera, he manages to get millions of views because of his hypnotic skills. After all, it appears that Andrew Tate did cast a spell on everybody, even if he's denying it. That's everything in this video. Don't forget to tell me your thoughts in the comments, and if you want to support the channel, check the link in the description or in the first comment. See you in the next video.